I was going to ask you, you talked about, well, we talked a little bit about being captain of the Flyers, and when you took over being the captain in 2011, did you change anything about your presence in the locker room, or was it just like business as usual?
Well, I was pretty young, and just when you hear about being a captain, you got to be a leader. You got to say the right things. You got to do the right things. So I was really trying to just do the right things and say the right things. But at the end of the day, early on, maybe I was trying to do too much, trying to be too much of a good captain, say the right things all the time instead of just playing the game. And I mean, one of the best captains I've had is Mike Richards, and he's not a guy that talks that much. He does talk when it's time, but he just shows by example. And I mean, he was a gamer. Anytime we need something to happen, he was the first one to make it happen. So I think what Richie did, I think I learned a lot from him, and took me maybe a few years to realize that a letter doesn't really mean you have to talk or do anything. It's just go out there and be yourself, basically.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's what I've seen before, whether it's a captain of a team or a coach. Or people have these ideas of how they should be, and they want to criticize for them not being a certain way, when in fact what makes them the best leader is that they're just themselves. And you lead by example, and you don't have to be this rah guy all the time. You speak up when it's necessary. But I think fans specifically, they don't understand necessarily that it's more about the individual character and being genuine, because that's what really generates a leader, versus like having to be this like this superficial or inside the box type of leader, which they would expect. And you're standing up in front of the team every day and giving them like the charge up, pump up speech. But like, because I asked you that because Richie, you mentioned Richie, and I see it in you. It's just you guys are like just like humble, say quieter leaders. Like you know what you're going to get from you guys every single night, right? And so does the guy next to you. And I think that's a huge chunk of being a leader. And then when shit hits the fan, or or it's going well, and you got to humble the guys. Like you're there to kind of step in and say something, but. I know it's got to be a challenging position for a young guy stepping in that and thinking you got to take the world, on your shoulders, and you got to be like superhuman. When in fact, like you said, it took you a few years. All you really needed to do was to be yourself and not put all that kinds of crazy pressure on. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's. I think people need to hear that, because not everyone is the same, and there are different types of leaders.
No, for sure. And there's like some guys are going to be best leaders without a letter on their jersey, because they don't feel that pressure that they need to be a leader, and they just become themselves. And then sometimes somebody gets an A, and then they feel like they have to become more somebody that talks more and gets the voice going. But that if it's not you, it's not you, right? So
Right.
Sometimes the best leaders are the ones that don't have a letter on their jersey.
You're right.
Leadership maybe back in the day was a little bit more one or two guys, but now I feel that it's more 5, 6, 7 guys that will lead. And even like the other guys are not in the 6, 7 doesn't mean they're not leaders. It's just It's good that everybody's on the same page, everybody has the same message, and that's like become a team.
Yeah, it's probably more important now than ever to have that larger core group of actual leaders. And you look at the teams that have won Stanley Cups in the last however long, it's like they got a really large group of core leaders, and obviously only a few of them are wearing letters, and the rest of them are just supporting cast. But you got to have that veteran leadership. You can still be a young guy and be a leader, but the larger that core group is, I think the better chance you have of say molding and attracting these young guys to the philosophy of the club. And I was going to mention too, you also got the the most games played by a captain this year, which is pretty damn impressive in the Flyers organization. So congrats.
Yeah, it is. That's amazing.
That's pretty amazing. So good for you on that.
It's amazing, man. I can't believe how fast this time went.
Yeah,
with the
13 seasons. Or
remember when he came in, he looked like he was about 11.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
What'd you
arms like seagull's legs? Just a young buck.
been 163 maybe.
Yeah. But what a set of mitts on that little.
Oh,
who's
man.
the 12-year-old there? He's got mitts. I don't know, but he's got mitts. Don't ask Clarky because he can't pronounce his name properly. When we lost the cup there, Riles was on the team. Like we had Richie on, Mike Richards, and he was just like, that was one of the biggest disappointments in my career. You know, obviously he's won 2, and you're gonna get one as well. But what a year, what a team. We've kind of talked about that before, but this the group. Looking back the other day, we had I think it was when Richie was the anniversary, or what if you really call it anniversary, where he scored the goal when he ran at the goalie, the lock with Montreal and all that. Just looking back, watching that, just looking at the guys on the bench, man, what a group. It was awesome, man. So maybe you were a young kid, but you were establishing yourself at that time. Like obviously you scored a huge overtime goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. It got us our first win in the finals and all that stuff. But I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we had the team we had. It's kind of crazy how talented we were, and Chemo and Prongs back there playing 35 minutes a game, and then I think first round, Kartsy and Gags broke their foot, I think, and then Billy Leno came out of nowhere and started playing with Danny B, and this guy was just
we're like,
where has this guy been? Like,
what a trade! Well, they never got to let him play.
With me as the 13th, 14th forward for however long. We squeezed him in the lineup, and then he dominated.
He went in playing 20 minutes a game, and
really, he was a good guy and everything. Like, this guy's a funny, good dude, but can he play hockey? Like, he gets thrown in and he ends up breaking rookie record, which is funny. Remember him waving? And I remember Labby. They put it up on the big screen, and everyone's standing up, and Billy's waving clapping to the crowd, and Labby's like, this is the middle of the game. He goes, isn't he like fucking 30? So it's because they said rookie record. He's like fucking 30. I said, he's close to it. He's somewhere around there.
No, that year it was awesome. Obviously I was 21 years old maybe, and team was a little older, veteran guys that have been there, and it's my second year in the league that time, and I'm like, this league's easy. We're going straight to the finals, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go back there, and not even a sniff. It's
crazy how it goes.
It's a good league, and you take it, you take things for granted sometimes, but that team was just the way it all happened. It was last game of the season, going to shootouts, and then down 3-0 to Boston. I mean, that whole thing, that whole month and a half, 2 months, that rush was just insane, and the city was buzzing, and we were close.
Yeah, we were close. It was. I don't know if you remember this, G, but I know you remember McDaniels and our boy Danny Moore, who we bring up quite a bit. He'll be jacked up. We would go. We were going there, and it was the night after we beat the Rangers in the shootout, and you and Danny B scored, and Boosh came up with the big stops, and we went to McDaniels, and I remember you, and it was so great because you were young, and you were so fired up. Like he didn't have the beard, ladies and gentlemen. He's just this little young looking dude, but he was fucking stud. And I remember you saying, guys, we can win. And I'm like listening to you, and guys are like, yeah. No, we can win. We can win, you were saying. And I was like, this is great. This kid's so fired up, man. And we almost did. And we could have. We could have won. I mean, could have, should have, would have, but you're still going to get one. You got one coming here.